Hey friend, this is the Ankara Beaded Neckpiece, and in this video I'll be showing you how to create this remarkable, beautiful, phenomenal Ankara neckpiece. Let's get right into it. You're welcome back. In today's video, you'll be learning how to make Ankara neckpiece, and to do that you'll be needing a couple of tools and materials. You'll be needing your pair of scissors right here. You will also need your ruler, okay, your measuring tape. I have mine here. You will need thread, a black thread most preferably, yes, and then you will need beads. I have my beads right here. You can have anyone that is a bit bigger than this, or you can have something of this size, okay. You will also need needle and thread or a sewing machine. So if you don't have a sewing machine, you'll be making use of needle and thread. And the last but not the least, you most definitely need your fabric. In this case, we are using the Ankara fabric, this beautiful Ankara fabric. So let's get right into it. The first thing you're going to do is to cut out a small piece of fabric like this one. Then you pick your bead and you wrap this fabric around your bead like this. Then wherever it ends, you cut it off at that point. Awesome. So the reason we are doing this is so that we can know the size of the bead. Okay, so now we have this to represent the size of the bead. So right now I'm going to place this small fabric that I have here on my Ankara fabric like this. And I'm going to add just a few centimeters on my fabric, and that will make up for the sewing allowance. So I'm just going to measure this now, and yes, this is just about 2 inches. I'm going to place my measuring tape on my fabric, and I'm going to measure 35 inches long. Yes, my fabric is 2 inches wide and 35 inches long. That's what I'm going to be cutting out. But please note that I'm cutting out 2 inches wide because of the size of my bead. This is my bead right here, and this is the size. Yours can be bigger than this, so you have to measure the size of your bead and add some few centimeters as allowance so that the bead can easily enter into the fabric after sewing. Okay, so I'm going to measure 35 inches now. So this is where my 35 inches is, so I'm going to pick my chalk and mark it right here. But the reason why I am using 35 inches long for my measurements is because that is the length that I want for my neck piece. For you, you might want something shorter than that or something longer. Just measure where you want it to reach on your neck. Okay, that will determine the length of the fabric that you'll be cutting out. So you can just put your measuring tape around your neck and measure based on where you want the neck piece to reach. I'm going to start measuring the 2 inches on my fabric up to that point where I marked the 35 inches. Okay, so I have joined each of those 2 inches points that I made. I've joined them together with a straight line up till the 35 inches length right here. So there is a straight line here, there's a line over here. So what I'm going to do now is to pick up my scissors, okay, and I will start cutting from here till the end of the line. So here's my fabric, and this is what I did. After cutting out the fabric, as I explained earlier, I took it to the sewing machine, and I explained also that you can use a needle and thread like this one here if you don't have a sewing machine. But if you have a sewing machine, it is going to be much more better. So I took it to a sewing machine and I left like 2 inches both at the top and at the bottom. I left them untouched. I didn't sew these 2 inches. Okay, so I started sewing from this part and I sewed it down to this part. So after sewing it like that, I then turned it. Okay, it was initially this like this before. Okay, so I turned it to the right side so that the sewing that I did will not be so obvious. So this is what I have right now. So I'm going to pick up my bead and I'm going to insert it into this hole right here. Okay, then I'm going to bring it down. So here we are. This is my bead here. Okay, and it is at the center. See, the 2 ends are touching here and my bead is here. Now I'm going to pick up this thread that I have cut out earlier and I'm going to tie each end with it like this. So look at this, both ends of the bead has been tightly tied with the thread. And now I'm going to insert the next bead and I will tie it again as I did to this one. So this is what I have now, and what I'm going to do now is to repeat the same thing I did for this side on this side. So I'm going to be inserting 6 extra beads here just as I have them here. This is what I have. I'm just going to stop adding the bead here. I added six extra apart from the first one we added at the center, so we have 6 on each of the sides, and then I'm going to leave this place as it is. You can add more, it depends on your preference. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to press this down with a pressing iron just to make it look more excellent. Alright, so this is what I have after pressing it with iron. Now I'm going to pick up these 2 sides and I'm going to pick up my needle and thread, and then I'm going to sew these sides together. The right side will be facing the right side, just like this. And I'm going to insert my needle here. If you have a sewing machine, you can make use of a sewing machine. So yes, this is what I have after joining this place together. So it's going to be something like this. What I'm going to do now is to sew this place, okay, with a sewing machine or with needle and thread. I'll just close up this space that I have right here. Make sure you fold it like this. You fold it a little before placing them together, and then you walk your needle through it like this. So I'm going to go ahead now and press this with my pressing iron so that it can be well aligned. Awesome. Now that all of that is done, you finally have your beaded Ankara neck piece. This is just so beautiful. As I said, you can add as many beads as you like. I just did this for educational purposes. You can add more until you are satisfied with the look of your neck piece. So let me know in the comments if you'll be trying this out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.